Greetings, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my experience with a new micro brand. As you can see, it's a watch from the Bangalore Watch Company. So I had an opportunity recently to hang out with this watch for a few days, and I will be passing this on shortly to the next person. So I just wanted to give you some thoughts about this watch in case you were considering it, how I felt about it, what the quality was like, and the design inspirations, and so on and so forth. So, with that being said, I will begin with a bit of a background about the Bangalore Watch Company. This is a relatively newcomer to the micro brand watch scene, and was started by a husband and wife team in the city of Bangalore, I believe in early 2017. This is their third offering. They had a men's dress watch, then followed that up with a ladies dress watch, and now today we have in front of us the Mach 1, which is a pilot style watch from them. Now, before I get started, a couple of disclosures. I just want to say that this is not a paid review by any means. I am simply giving you my own personal thoughts after having spent about 10 days with the watch. I'm not getting anything to do this. So if it's largely positive, that's because that's how I feel about the watch. Secondly, keep in mind that this watch has gone around the world, this particular piece, into different reviewers' hands and people's hands. So you might find some minor scuffs and so on and so forth. So don't let that deter you in any way. Thirdly is more of a personal thing. This watch, I should say that I am from Bangalore. That's where I was born and raised. So it definitely strikes a personal chord for me. So it's very excited to find out. So from a personal standpoint, I just want to put it out there that, I might be doubly excited simply because this is a great watch from my hometown, which is very exciting to see. All right, with that out of the way, let's begin with this review. Oh yes, another disclaimer, the actual Mach 1 watch comes in a different packaging than the one you see here. So this is not the packaging that'll come with it. Actually comes in a nice pelican case sort of box, if I'm not mistaken. So this is from their dress watch line. So I just want to mention that. Okay, let's do the usual. It's not really an unboxing because this is not how you will receive it. But however, I am impressed with this beautiful piano black case that they send the dress watch with. It is quite stunning with their logo. And here it is, folks. This is the Mach 1 from the Bangalore Watch Company. Just give me a second to get that out of the way. All right, so we'll go into it into much greater detail, but what I did want to do first is go over, some of the dimensions, get that out of the way. So this is a really well proportioned watch, I feel. So fairly contemporary dimensions. So the case size itself is 42 in diameter. The lug to lug is 48 and then it's about I believe the thickness is 11 meters tall, so it's really nice. And then your lug width itself is 22 meters. So very contemporary sizing, especially for a pilot's watch. I think it's a great size. So a couple of other things that they've done. Okay, so the hands, and the hour and minute hands and the hour markers are all C3 super luminova. The crown has this really cool afterburner nozzle design inspiration here. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then the strap is a combination of textile on top and leather, so it's one of those quick release straps. All right, so those are the dimensions out of the way. So what do I think about this watch? I mean, having spent a few days with it on my wrist. So I'll say this right out of the bat. So details. So this is something that surprised me. There are many details in this watch that the makers of this watch have fussed on about. So so what do I mean by this? So let's start with the dial, where most people like to start. So when I think of a watch, and I don't have a really big collection, so when I'm looking to buy a new watch, whatever the style, especially among the micro brands, I really look for what extra have they done in order to sort of motivate me to buy the watch. So we all know there are hundreds of pilot watches out there. So what's so unique about this one? I think there are many unique things. Of course, the dial elements themselves are unique to the Bangalore Watch Company, simply because the theme is based on military aviation. Specifically, the inspiration comes from the Indian Air Force's MiG-21 supersonic fighter jets that I believe were in commission from up until about 2013. So the inspiration is definitely military aviation for these watches. Let's start with the dial. So you can see that the model that I have is known as the variant that I have is known as the I believe the Aviator, as opposed to the civilian. Now the civilian model has traditional 12, 1, 2, 3 hour markers. The Aviator model has these 5-minute increments as the main markers along the hour. So let's start with that. So even though you have this traditional pilot's 5-minute increments on the hour hand, the first detail that caught my eye, of course, was that they had both the the hour markers, the traditional ones on the rehaut. So you can see there 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, all the way up to 12. So you get that nice detail there. And then on the inner dial, you also had the 24-hour time, which is really nice. So you get all three. So I really like that little detail. They didn't leave out anyone in this particular variant. That's the first thing that I really liked. Second one, and it's not always easy to achieve, is dial balance. So this is very obvious. So you can see on the left by the 9 o'clock marker, you have the Indian Air Force, what's it called? The tail fin, or the fin flash. So that's the tricolor, the Indian tricolor flag. And it says Mach 1 automatic. So that's currently been covered up by the R hand, but it says Mach 1 automatic. And what struck me was, the balance here. So right on the other side at the 3 o'clock marker, you can see that it has a day and date wheel, which is color matched, right? So this really balances out that extra, that fin flash that they have on the 9 o'clock. So above that, you have the Bangalore Watch Company's logo. Beautiful applied logo. I really like that logo. Could it have been at the 12 o'clock position? Maybe, but I think it works just fine here. And then the Bangalore Watch Company name itself. So really nice dial balance. So that's the first detail that that's the second detail that I really liked a lot, the dial balance. Other small things. So if you look at the seconds hand, you can see the arrowhead has that nice red tip, so that gives it some pop. So you have a red triangle at the 12, and then the arrowhead itself has a red tip, so that certainly adds some pop to the overall look of the watch. And then moving on from the dial, the crown itself, the design of the crown was inspired by the afterburner nozzle of the MiG-21. So you can see it's got that really nice spiraling, if that's the right word. And then of course their logo, once again, nicely stamped onto the crown. Beautiful. Here's the logo. You can see what that looks like. So that's with respect to the crown. There's some small details. Again, I really appreciate the small touches that they've done. The one thing that certainly impressed me and caught me by surprise was the bezel and case. So if you look at the bezel, you have this top half that has this brushed finish, followed by this band of high polish here, right? So this really I was pleasantly surprised by this, because I was not expecting this. I didn't quite catch that from the photographs on the website. But what this also leads to is absolutely no harsh edges on the bezel. So I'm running my thumb over it, and it is smooth. I cannot find a single pointy edge. It's really, really well done. So kudos for those for putting in the effort to get that right. That's really nice. I know it's a minor detail, but one that counts when you're thinking of making a purchase. And here's some more nice brushed polishing here as well. So yeah, really nice case design. You can see, beautiful. A crown that's very unique. I've already said enough about the dial. Two more things I want to talk about. Let's look at the back. The case back is screwed down. It has stamped on it the MiG-21 type F-77, India's first supersonic fighter, 1963 to 2013. What I didn't mention was the movement. So it has a very nice Selita SW220-1 movement, fairly reliable by my estimation. 100 meters water resistance, sapphire crystal. I think it's got triple anti-reflectives, making it again, the dial is very legible. So that's a nice touch there. And then finally, with the straps, I mentioned already, you have these quick release straps. So yeah, folks, that's a look at the Bangalore Watch Company's Mach 1 offering. So what are my thoughts on it? Do I have any issues or caveats or minuses? I don't have. I have to say it's been a couple of things that you might find. So the one thing I did find is that I'm guessing, like all good leather straps and products, like a good leather boot, the strap might take some time to break in, so to speak, when you first wear it. So I'm not the first person using it, so it's nicely worn in. I should mention also that the buckle has their logo. So small details, really appreciate that. So the strap might need to be broken in. So keep that in mind. But that's perfect. Other than that, it looks like a fantastic tool-tastic kind of a strap. Really nice feel on the top as well. Second thing, some would say, well, at this price point, I think it retails for about 680 USD. Given how crowded the microbrand scene is, what are my thoughts on this? I think it's a really good watch, especially for someone who wants something unique and is a fan of Pilot's watches. The sizing is great. The as you can see, the design is also really nice. It's unique. It's not just another copy of a Pilot's watch. There are many unique design elements to this watch. Um, so I think that's easily justifiable, especially if you were looking for a Pilot's watch. I would say not having a black watch in my collection, if I were to buy this, and this is on my list, when I am ready to buy this, I think I would spring for the PVD version, what they call the stealth version of this exact same dial layout, the Aviator dial layout, not the civilian one. So that's me. I think that's what I would do. Oh yes, the one thing I did not mention, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, was the lume on this watch is insane. I'm filming this in broad daylight, so I don't think I would be able to do justice to a lume shot. However, I should mention that the applied, I will put a picture up just to show you what the lume looks like. But the applied indices are ridiculous. That is something that really caught me by surprise. So I'm talking about stepping out into the sun for a minute or two and then coming back, not even into darkness, but inside the house, and it glowing bright. I was really taken aback by how much lume they've put into this. So I think that this dial oozing with lume along with the black PVD case would be my preferred model for this particular watch. I think if you're interested in purchasing this, it's available on their website, the Bangalore Watch Company. Of course, like I said, I'll end this review by saying that I had a really fun time with this watch, and yeah, it's certainly on my list. Thank you so much if you are watching, if you've watched all the way through. This is actually my first watch review on YouTube, so it's been quite apt that it's a watch from Bangalore. Very cool. Thank you for staying with me. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments about the watch. I would also love to know what you think about this review. How can I improve it? I'd love to do more from my own personal collection, and just try and give as much information to watch enthusiasts like me out there. So that's really what this channel is going to be focused on. Enough about me. Let me know your thoughts on the watch. I for one, think it's a lovely piece. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.